Everyone loves a good underdog story, especially in the world of fighting, where grit, heart, and determination can turn the impossible into reality. In arenas packed with roaring crowds, where every second counts and every move could mean victory or defeat, underdogs remind us why we watch. Because sometimes, the smallest fighter packs the biggest punch. Today, we're diving deep into the top 5 underdog fighting stories that shocked the world, inspired millions, and proved that no matter how steep the odds, the human spirit can triumph. These aren't just fights. They're epic tales of resilience, courage, and heart. So buckle up and get ready, because these stories will leave you on the edge of your seat. Why underdogs captivate us? What is it about underdog stories that grips us so deeply? Is it the emotional roller coaster of watching someone defy the odds? Or the thrill of seeing a giant toppled by a seemingly weaker challenger? Maybe it's the raw human spirit on display. The refusal to quit, no matter the challenge. In fighting, every punch, every kick, every hold could be the difference between triumph and heartbreak. Underdogs show us that heart can outmatch skill, belief can conquer doubt, and that the impossible can become reality. Whether in boxing's squared circle, MMA's cage, or wrestling's mat, underdogs remind us that greatness is not just for the privileged or the favored. It's for anyone willing to fight for it. There's something universal about rooting for the underdog. It taps into our own struggles. Those moments when life feels like an uphill battle and the odds seem stacked against us. Watching someone overcome, rise above, and claim victory rekindles hope inside all of us. These stories aren't just about sport. They're about courage, resilience, and the power of the human will. They inspire us to push harder, to believe deeper, and to never back down from our own fights, whatever they may be. Today, we're counting down the top 5 underdog fighting stories that changed history. Stories of fighters who had everything stacked against them, but still rose to glory. Because in the end, the greatest victories come not from being the strongest, but from refusing to quit. Number 5. Holly Holm vs. Ronda Rousey. Number 5 on our list, Holly Holm's stunning upset over Ronda Rousey at UFC 193. The MMA world was electrified that night in November 2015, as the invincible Rousey, the self-proclaimed baddest woman on the planet, stepped into the cage against a fighter many doubted could last a round, let alone win. Rousey was the reigning bantamweight champion and a submission machine, having dispatched nearly every challenger with ease and often in mere seconds. Her aura was unstoppable, her confidence bordering on arrogance, and fans expected a swift victory. Enter Holly Holm, a former boxing world champion making a bold switch to MMA. Many critics dismissed her striking style as unproven against Rousey's relentless grappling. She was the classic underdog. Experienced, yes, but nowhere near the favorite to win. But Holm had a secret weapon: patience, precision, and an unshakable game plan honed through years of disciplined training and mental focus. From the opening bell, Holm stayed calm, kept her distance, and absorbed the pressure. She refused to be rushed or rattled by Rousey's aggressive advances. Her footwork was impeccable, circling, moving, and picking her spots with surgical precision. It was a masterclass in strategy and composure. Then, with one perfectly timed head kick in the second round, she knocked Rousey out cold, sending shockwaves around the world. The stunned silence in the arena was followed by an eruption of disbelief and awe. The baddest woman on the planet had been dethroned by the quiet, calculated challenger. Insert quote from Holm. "I knew I had to be smart, stay composed, and seize the moment." Holm's victory wasn't just an upset. It was a lesson in preparation, discipline, and seizing the moment when the world least expects it. Her win shattered the myth of invincibility surrounding Rousey and proved that heart, patience, and technical skill can overcome even the most dominant force. For fans and fighters alike, it was a defining moment, a reminder that no champion is unbeatable, and every fight is winnable. Holm's rise also inspired countless women in combat sports, showing that perseverance and belief can break barriers and rewrite history. Number 4. Buster Douglas vs. Mike Tyson. At number 4, we rewind to 1990. one of boxing's most seismic moments. Mike Tyson, the undisputed heavyweight champion, was the youngest and most feared fighter the sport had ever seen. His knockout streak was legendary, and his aura, untouchable. Tyson wasn't just a boxer, he was a force of nature. His ferocity inside the ring was matched only by his confidence outside it. Many believed he was invincible. James "Buster" Douglas was the complete opposite. A skilled fighter but inconsistent, Douglas's career was a roller coaster. Flashes of brilliance shadowed by moments of doubt and lack of focus. But beyond the ring, Douglas faced heart-wrenching personal tragedies. Just weeks before the fight, his mother passed away, a devastating blow that shook him to his core. His training camp was far from perfect. Rumors swirled about distractions, and many experts wrote him off as no match for Tyson's overwhelming power and speed. Yet, Douglas was determined to fight, not just for a title, but for redemption. On February 11th, in Tokyo's Nakajima Gymnasium, Douglas stepped into the ring with a quiet but burning resolve. Round after round, Douglas absorbed Tyson's fury and kept fighting back. He moved with agility, countered with precision, and refused to be intimidated. The crowd watched in disbelief as Douglas weathered the storm and delivered punishing blows of his own. Then, in the 10th round, with a perfectly timed right hand, Douglas dropped Tyson to the canvas, knocking out the seemingly invincible champion. The arena erupted. The sports world was stunned. This wasn't just a win. It was a symbol of resilience in the face of overwhelming odds. Douglas's victory was more than just a boxing upset. It was a testament to the power of mental toughness, to the strength found in pain and perseverance. His story reminds us that even in the darkest moments, hope can shine through. Buster Douglas taught us all that no opponent is unbeatable, and that heart, grit, and belief can rewrite history. Number 3. Matt Serra versus Georges St-Pierre. Coming in at number 3, a story straight out of the MMA fairy tale books. Matt Serra versus Georges St-Pierre, UFC 69. Georges St-Pierre, known as GSP, was the undefeated welterweight champion, a dominant force with skill, speed, and technique that left most challengers in his wake. To many, GSP was not just a champion but a near-perfect fighter, combining intelligence with athleticism in a way rarely seen. Serra was a skilled striker, but considered a massive underdog. A former contender many believed was past his prime and unlikely to mount a serious challenge. His previous losses and quiet demeanor gave fans little reason to expect a monumental upset. When the fight began, GSP controlled the pace early, using his wrestling and striking to keep Serra on the defensive. It seemed like the champion was on track for another routine victory. But Serra had a plan, and more importantly, belief. He absorbed GSP's pressure and patiently looked for an opening, knowing one punch could change everything. In the second round, with lightning speed and precision, Serra unleashed a brutal right hand that connected perfectly, knocking out the champion cold. The arena exploded with shock and disbelief. The MMA world was shaken to its core. This victory wasn't just a win for Serra. It was a seismic shift, proving that no fighter, no matter how dominant, is invincible. Discuss Serra's mindset. Serra's unrelenting confidence, his refusal to be overshadowed, and his tactical brilliance allowed him to capitalize on a fleeting moment when GSP's guard dropped. Number 2. James "Buster" Douglas. While we already touched on Buster Douglas's legendary upset, his story deserves a deeper look. Douglas's journey to the Tyson fight was paved with personal hardship and inner demons. Born in Columbus, Ohio, Douglas was always a gifted boxer, but struggled with motivation and self-belief. From a young age, he showed flashes of brilliance in the ring, but inconsistency and self-doubt often held him back. Outside the ring, life was no easier. He faced battles with depression, grappling with the pressures of fame, family, and financial instability. Then, just weeks before the fight with Mike Tyson, Douglas suffered a devastating loss. His beloved mother passed away. The pain was unimaginable. Most fighters might have crumbled under such weight, but Douglas chose a different path. He channeled his grief, anger, and frustration into fierce determination, using the memory of his mother as fuel to fight harder. His training camp was grueling, physically demanding, and mentally exhausting. He fought not just against Tyson but against the shadows within himself. Number 1. Rocky Marciano's rise to legend. And finally, the number 1 underdog story. The legendary Rocky Marciano. Born into a working-class family in Brockton, Massachusetts, Marciano had no boxing pedigree, no fancy gyms, and little fanfare. What he did have was an iron will, relentless work ethic, and unmatched toughness that would define his entire career. Marciano's style was simple. Come forward, throw punches, and never, ever quit. There was no flashy footwork or showboating. Instead, it was pure grit and power, combined with an unbreakable spirit. Despite early doubts and skepticism from experts, Marciano climbed the ranks, fighting champions with better records, more experience, and far greater reputations. Yet round after round, fight after fight, he outworked, outlasted, and outpunched every opponent who dared step in his way. His relentless pressure overwhelmed foes, and his ability to absorb punishment while dishing out devastating blows was unmatched. One of his crowning achievements was the brutal, hard-fought win over Joe Louis, a living legend who had dominated boxing for years. Marciano proved he could stand toe-to-toe with the very best and emerge victorious. Then came the legendary battle with Jersey Joe Walcott, a fight many expected Marciano to lose. But in the 13th round, he delivered one of the most iconic knockouts in boxing history, seizing the heavyweight title and etching his name forever in the Sports Hall of Fame. Marciano's record? 50 fights, 49 wins, 0 losses, and no draws. The only heavyweight champion to retire undefeated. His story is the ultimate underdog tale, proving that heart, hustle, and grit can carve your name into history no matter where you start. He inspired generations of fighters, showing that toughness and determination often outweigh natural talent. Marciano wasn't just a boxer. He was a symbol of working-class resilience, a testament to the power of relentless hard work. His legacy lives on, not just in record books, but in the spirit of every fighter who dares to dream beyond their circumstances. Lessons from the underdogs. So, what can we take away from these incredible fighters? Underdogs teach us resilience, that no matter how many times you're knocked down, you can rise again. They teach us belief, that even when the world doubts you, your faith in yourself can fuel extraordinary achievement. And above all, they teach us that the fight isn't over until the final bell rings. Whether you're stepping into the ring or facing your own battles outside of it, their stories remind us all. Never underestimate the power of heart. If these legendary underdog stories inspired you, smash that like button, subscribe for more epic fight content, and drop a comment below telling us your favorite underdog moment in fighting history. We've got more thrilling fight stories coming your way, so don't miss out.